Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're okay on this lovely Sunday morning. My name is Tulsi Patel, but I go by the author name of T. Dench Patel. And the title of this speech is called The Spirit and the Demon. I'm just going to get on so that I don't use up a lot of minutes. I've got a lot to say here. I'm going to share my slides so that you can see where we're at as we go along. So 1 second, give me a moment. Share screen. There we go. That's the one. And I'll show. There you go. All right. So a little bit about my background is I'm from South Africa. I was born in apartheid South Africa, and I was living in a segregated area, went to an all Indian school, and I also lived in an area where domestic violence seemed to be a norm at the time of apartheid. I've written 3 books. 2 books are based on a true story. The first one is called The South African True Colors. The second is The South African Roma. And the third is a children's book called Light. My relationship with spirituality began probably when I was 19 and I was jobless. I just finished college, and I asked a lot of questions, and I had a lot of curiosity around God and beliefs, and I wondered what really should I believe? And my first spiritual awakening happened when I started my first full-time job just after asking all those questions during that year, and then it was a year after that I got a job. So I was held at gunpoint before Christmas on my first full-time job. And then I found myself really understanding the spiritual journey when I left a few months after that to go to England with 1,300 pounds in my pocket to, basically start life on my own in a new country, and I never have traveled in my life. So by far the most profound relationship I've had with spirituality has been when I left a relationship with or a relationship where I endured domestic violence, in more so psychological abuse, and having to deal with panic attacks, anxiety, jitters, palpitations, and all this was first time experience for me. I had no idea where all this was coming from and why this was happening. And I found meditation, and meditation found me. That is probably where real art of spirituality started in my life. And then overcoming the relationship that I had with myself, with all the negative, and what happened in the spiritual awakening of the psychological abuse, I realigned my mind, body, spirit, and soul. And here we are, 7 years later. This is me, all aligned, giving you this speech and giving many others messages through my alignment and my practices. Why this topic? So you will notice a link at the bottom of my slides. Every slide has this link, and it reads, just in case you can't see it, https://tdenchpatel.com. Some people will never like you because your spirit irritates their demons. Denzel Washington. The reason why I chose this topic was this specific article this year ranked #1 on Google, and right now it's ranking #4. Many people asked me questions after this article shot to #1 and has more so quoted or shared this article on different platforms and sent me messages. And this is when I realized that not many people understand the concept of the spirit and the demon and what I had shared on this particular article. So if anything, my books, The South African True Colors, The South African Roma, or Light, has in common with all of us is that we all face challenges at some point or another in our life. And right now, I assure you, we all having a lot of challenges. And people are trying to seek answers, and people are trying to find hope and optimism. It's like one day you never know when your husband or wife is going to come back and tell you, I want a divorce, or children facing bullying at school. You never know if you would be one day that person who is dealing with panic attacks or jitters or palpitations or anxiety or something else like an illness that had affected your confidence or self-esteem. And not many people really consider where fear, palpitations, anxiety, and all the root of these emotions and effects on the body actually come from. And we are actually naturally, our state of living is joy. And we have been consumed by living life on the mode that we have been placed here on tackle. We just react. Something happens to us, we react. Something happens to us, we need to find a solution, but very little time to actually understand why all this is happening to us and where is it coming from. The origin. So there's one thing that we never think about when we're growing up or raising our kids, and we're not born with ego, lack, pride, arrogance, attitude, temptation. We are all taught this here on this earth, or we are influenced by someone, or there's some kind of experience we had in our life that has transferred onto us from someone else, or externally, but something that has happened to us, which leads to the question of, are we here to just roam around on this planet? Are we here to live unintentionally, or are we here to just fall into our demons, our temptations, or are we here to improve ourselves from our experiences so that we can enhance the human experience? So let's face it, like when we're growing up, no one really gives us an exam on our behavior. We are tested on science, on biology, and mathematics, and there is no emotional intelligence subject, or there is no school to learn emotional intelligence. We are living in the school of life where we have to learn from whatever happens to us, the experience and the wisdom that comes from that. And it's only until recent years that psychologists and parents are looking into why their children are acting out the way they are acting and behaving, and the root cause of all of that. As young adults, we tend to hang around with each other, our same age group, because we all grow together. We have our circle together. We have some wisdom later on in the years to share with each other. But in real fact, when young people are growing up together, they are actually cannot lead each other. You need someone wiser, someone to supervise their thoughts, their ideas, so that they don't go in the wrong direction. And this is what growing up, being a teenager is like. So this world that we're really living in is like the survival of the fittest. Growing up, we really, we're not taught emotional intelligence. We're not taught how to handle our emotions and what kind of emotions are arising for us and why. And young adults are seeking freedom because they've been so controlled in school, at home, their thoughts, what they educate themselves with, what they see, that they really seeking freedom, and they want to earn money. So they easily tempted by the shiny object syndrome. And the spirit really wants to be free, but it doesn't really know how. It's the spirit also wants to be free, but the question is it the spirit wants to be free, or is it the demon that wants to be free? So ego, pride, arrogance, provocation, temptation, sorry, temptation at the highest when you are young adolescent, because you are all bouncing off each other, bouncing off each other's dreams, ideas, creativity, all things that you can be and become. And you are amongst the same energy, that same vibration. So people in the same group who's who's growing up cannot really advise each other, and you find that everyone wants to be right, and everyone won't admit, or anyone won't admit, that they are wrong, because you are still growing up and the emotions are going along with the hormones, and everyone is trying to be better than everyone. It's how the young people, growing up is hard. So we've learned it here. There's just a tiny percent of generations ahead of us that really know this, and therefore recent concepts like these have never really been taught. Today's youngsters know a lot more than we knew when we were their age back then. So Gen Z is a generation that is, Gen Z consumes a lot of information, but the attention span is really low. Excuse me, it's the dog. He's I hope you can still hear me clearly. He's going mad with another one in the corner there. So as I was saying, Gen Z is they are a generation that consumes a lot of information, and the attention span is really low. So they know very quickly when they are treated with unfairness, injustice, and inequality. And before coronavirus, a lot of people have been living off instant gratification, and Gen Z is probably another generation that would not accept injustice, inequality, and unfairness. In fact, anyone won't, but Gen Z is more likely to act on that unfairness, inequality, and injustice. So the external world has created a pressure for us, and it's like we reached the legal drinking age, or now it's time to get a car because everyone else is getting a car. And as we grow up, we want more and more and more, and as we grow up, there's a lot of competition, and a lot of youngsters have this pressure, envy, jealousy, competition, and you don't really know which demon you're raising as you going along, living your life, finding your girlfriend or your true love, and then marrying, and then building a family, and all these stages in life you go through. Some people are going through stages where they have some more temptation on certain things. And it's only when you get a literal or figurative slap in the face when the spirit really wakes up, and then you probably are having a spiritual awakening or a spiritual calling. Being aware about your values, your morals, your who you want to be in the future, your authenticity, your individuality really helps to put things in perspective and improve your life, so that you can see which demon is actually the strongest, and what is constituting the part that makes your spirit stronger. And that way you can understand what demon is killing which part of the spirit. There is an entire world of people out here that don't understand this concept or know about pride, ego, arrogance, emotional intelligence, and being aware that that about who you are, and where you're operating from, can help you uplift your spirit and your energy. And it's only that way you can change the spirit of your demons into something positive. So this is where some people will either learn from their mistakes and get in tune with who they really are and what they really want. Either one will begin to discipline, start self-control, willpower practices and other practices, and others might find themselves getting into the cycle or a pattern again. So with growing up facing hormonal changes or not even knowing where you're operating from, whether it's lies, manipulation, arrogance, pride, false beliefs, this is basically everywhere. This could be on some way that your boss is operating from. This could be a way that someone in your social circle is operating from, or in your family. And currently in the coronavirus, we are all wearing masks. But with this virus, a lot of people have become humble and they are removing their internal masks. So right now, the motivation and enthusiasm is so low with a lot of people. The planet is vibrating, you know, on energies that's, some of them are pretty negative. And it's very easy to catch on to other people's negative stories if you do not know your value, your moral, and where you are coming from, and what is your strength and what is your weakness. So being aware of your state and what you're consuming and who you are consuming from in terms of information, the energy, the people you are hanging around with, and how that plays a part in putting things into perspectives in your own life to straighten out your own demons, and how your own demons could be holding you down and holding you back is essential to be aware about. Self-imposing can really create a lot of harm, and it's a lifetime process to, you know, to process that you'd rather have your spirit play off your demon than your demon playing off your spirit. Ultimately, taking control of the energy in you and your spirit is your responsibility, and it ensures that you do not get into an emotional or a low spirit dump or garbage bin. The way your spirit comes across is dependent on the what you're consuming, and the way your energy comes across is also on what you're feeding it. And when your spirits are high, you attract high vibrational things and positivity into your life. And there is ways that you can go about breaking the old habits and building these new ways to enhance your spirit and energy so that you can attract what you're trying to attract into your life. And to begin with, to break this cycle or this pattern, you can start by taking out a piece of paper and writing down your morals, your values, and a few set of affirmations that you want to put down to see in you and your life, and maybe some habits that you don't have now but you want to have. And then putting these morals and values down in a few affirmations and reading them first thing in the morning when you get up every single day will help you to stay in tune with your core, your truth, and yourself. And that way, every 6 months, you can revisit this page and do a new set of morals and values and a new set of affirmations to take you on a new level, especially if you've gained a few more values and morals, and some of the values and morals are no longer you. And so it's a good way to kind of put into the recycle bin what isn't you and what is you, and then attract that into your life. That is another way that you can break this cycle, by doing this exercise. And it's a sure way that you are not swayed by the demons, and you are more aligned to you. So when we put our head down and follow our truth, some people will never like us because our spirit irritates their demons. Do not fall for their demons. Thank you very much. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. And I look forward to your questions, which I'm sure it's going to come up right about now after this slide. So thank you very much for listening. And yes, I hope you enjoyed this presentation.